Everyone meet Joseph. Joseph's a high school junior, and he just finished his year, and he's excited. And he's excited because he's about to go on and enter the process to make one of the biggest decisions he'll ever make in his life, which is finding the best fit for Joseph for college. Research shows and indicates that the number one factor that ends up students decide on where to apply and ultimately enroll is a visit to campus. And underlying that visit to campus, how they're deciding are things like gut feelings, the tour guide connection. If you've ever been on the process, you remember going through this, and the minute you walk on 2 or 3 campuses, everything starts to kind of flush together. Everyone has a 15-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. Everyone has top faculty doing research. But how are you keeping track of all those gut feelings and impressions going through the process? And Joseph, luckily, had a high school guidance counselor that told him about a free resource that he could use to rank and evaluate all of his college visits as he goes through the process and have a chance to be able to go back and then compare and share his options. When Joseph logs into his Welcome to College account, he's greeted by his dashboard. And on his dashboard, he first sees his upcoming visit to the University of New Haven, which he's amped about because they have a forensic science program, and that's what he's interested in studying, and he's getting ready to head there. He's then greeted with his school feeds, which is going to show him all the other schools on his list and feeds that are coming in on other students that are going through the college visit process like himself to understand how his schools are being rated by other students and users. And then finally, to the left, he's going to see his top schools. These are his schools that he has rated the best, that he's looking at, and he's constantly going to be evaluating throughout this process. So he's getting ready for his visit to the University of New Haven. He dives in. He wants to do some research on what are these other students saying about the University of New Haven. So he scrolls through, and he can read comments. Not only comments from users, but schools can respond and engage in conversation through Welcome to College. First thing that hits Joseph is something about the dining halls and the food. And Joseph loves food like most high school students do. Joseph's a big fan of pizza, is Joseph's food of choice. And so Joseph decides that food made him kind of hungry. I'm starting to get into planning my visit to the University of New Haven. I'm going to go check out all the options that New Haven has in regards to not only the local restaurants in terms of where I want to eat when I get there. And sure enough, Bella Villa's pizza sounds good to me. I like New York style. And then he's going to check out where he's going to stay. So they do and simplify the whole planning process through Welcome to College. And when he's ready, he goes through and selects his visit to the University of New Haven site. So when it's time to go on his visit, and again, all of this can also be done on our College Visits iPhone app, he can rate his experience. So sure enough, he goes through his tour experience at the University of New Haven. While he's there, he goes through and he's going to start to leave comments, which he could share publicly or privately, keep to himself or share with the greater world. And he could also rate his visit on a scale of 1 to 10 on each category. So in this case, he's rated his visit at the University of New Haven. He did it on his mobile iPhone app called College Visits. He's leaving a comment, actually. Loved the campus tour. His favorite part was his mom was Bella Vista pizza they had afterwards, and absolutely loved it. And he's rating that a 10. And when he logs back in, fast forward now, months down the line, he goes back to his dashboard. It's time to make his decision. Joseph remembers back all the experiences that he had at these college tours and college visits, and University of New Haven is the school that gets the nod. Joseph's excited, University of New Haven's excited, but there's something else of very important value going on here, and that is what the University of North Carolina and Arizona State University have to understand about why Joseph maybe made this decision. And that brings us to a crucial element of the tool that universities get value out of, which is a real-time dashboard where they can log in and get this feedback immediately that students are rating and evaluating from their visit to campus, which is extremely valuable for these schools to understand how they're assessing both their tour guide program, their entire visit to campus, and everything that's happening during this process. Not only that, they can review and look on how they're comparing and stacking up to every other school that those users are visiting as well and going to, and get some comparable data and analytics around the visit. And finally, they can download reports, get real-time data on all of these comments that are being uploaded into the system and all of the numerical ratings, whether these are students or parents, and also they can compare themselves against any other institution. Fast forward 4 more years, Joseph's finishing up the University of New Haven, had an incredible experience. He's excited because he made the best decision he could because of the fit that he found at New Haven. Not only that, he met the girl of his dreams, and not only that, she worked at the pizza joint.
Okay. Awesome. Hey, that's a great, great demo for a person who didn't know they were going to demo an hour ago. Well done. Questions and thoughts?
Well, how long would a user of this actually be on the site? I mean, isn't the process of visiting colleges about a week long?
Actually, a process starts for a lot of people in their sophomore years, some even a little bit earlier, in terms of going to, on these
high
visits.
school?
Of high school.
Really?
There's a lot of students that will start visiting colleges in their sophomore year, but junior and senior year are the 2 years where it's primary of most importance. So you got about a 2-year window where you have an engaged audience in terms of the tool.
I put my product manager hat on because that's what I did at Google for 10 years. And I sort of look at this and I'm trying to figure out what your core audience, what you're trying to solve for your core audience. Is it college visits? Because that's the impression that I got with Liz, that this is a tool for me to just mark down when I'm visiting. But the college process, like you pointed out, takes much longer than this. Some people start in their freshman year. Some people start last minute. What do you want it to be? You know, if I were, I'll let you answer this first.
No, absolutely. And this is a niche product focused on the visit solely. There's a lot of products out there that do great things around the whole comprehensive search process, but no one focuses on the most important piece, which we believe is the visit. So the whole thing is condensed and simplified through our tool.
On a product basis, though, just building on your comments, it feels like this product is built for the colleges, not necessarily for the students.
I see the clear value for
right?
colleges.
Yeah, and as a student, it's kind of for colleges, it's going to be completely useless if you don't build something that students will want to use and go back to.
Correct.
And I don't know if I were doing my college search, I would go to some website that I might not have heard of to go fill out my surveys to see if I like the visits. I think the value in what you're doing really is to help students manage this very complicated process of deciding where to go. Mm-hmm. And there's like so many factors, and I think that's part of the in a decision process, all from financial aid to how cool the college was to whether there's a sports team on campus that I like to who knows what drives a student to make a decision. Right. But that's something I'd think about carefully, is to figure out if the student is your core customer, which drives the colleges to pay you for that service, that survey data, how to build something that would fundamentally help them manage that decision process, because it is overwhelming and mind-numbing. And I agree, it's if you can help reduce that stress that they have to go through, then you'll drive a lot of students to use it.
Right, and what you just said, I mean, I think, all that data is great and colleges would love it, but trying to pry that little nuance of why they chose that school, I think is ultimately way more valuable. Was it the pizza shop?
Hopefully not.
The other thing I'd really
good decision.
The other thing I'd really the other thing I'd really focus on is building community. When I was going, I was lucky enough to have a bunch of schools to choose from, and so I was I was just mind-numbing. Like, it was mind-numbingly difficult to figure out which one. And the thing that really helped me was just discussions from other people going through the same process. So I know you have a little bit of the comments where you can rate and share comments with other people, but the Princeton Review Bulletin Board is really your competitor section. Right. That's where I went when I was in school. Maybe things have changed since then, or Facebook, or what it is now. But you having that community will be a huge driver of getting other students to want to participate.
Absolutely.
And I want to throw in that we look at college products all the time, trying to figure out how to help our kids the best. And the number one thing the kids want that we look for is a way to help them, like a product that's learning what a specific kid is going to want and making recommendations for them. So you're putting all this data in about how your visit went, and then the next kid comes along who's just like you. Is the product helping them kind of figure out where they might want to go and visit based on what other people have done before?
I'd be worried if there was a product. If I were a parent, I'd be super worried if there was a product that was encouraging my kids to pick a place where pizza was located. So I would sort of think carefully about how to drive value to students.
Do you get a big bounty for them signing up at the university, or they just pay for the software as a service?
It's software as a service.
Got it.
And it's annual subscription.
Because I think there's also a selection process going on, which is these are the schools that need help getting students, right? And so has that informed your product packaging, et cetera? Like, are these schools given extra marketing inside the product?
They are at this
Yeah.
point. Yep.
So I think what you have is a great tool
Yep.
for the colleges, and I think what you're hearing from the judges is a more Silicon Valley kind of
Yep.
approaches, maybe student up and then figure
Yes.
out the business model after.
Yes.
But it looks like you've got a great client list already. So maybe balancing those two things.
Right. Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Well done.
Thank you.
And